and this is another YouTube premiere. No one's filmed the car barge before, so enjoy the video, folks. We're off to a wreck called the Car Barge today. It's close to the Sarraf, which I uploaded recently a video of. It was sunk many years ago, I believe in the early to mid 80s, I'm not sure. A kind of barge for carrying gravel and stuff, I think, and then it was loaded with old cars and just sunk in its current position. I haven't dived it for around 20 to 25 years. It always used to have a lot of fish life. Unfortunately, during the construction of the Palm Island, the world, it did get quite silted up. But we're expecting it, like the Sarraf, to be back in good shape now. The reason we're going there today is to do a net survey for the Dubai Volunteer Dive Team. And if there are any nets on her, we'll video them, send the video to the dive team, and they'll schedule net removal sometime later on. I'm also going to check out my extended time underwater GoPro housing, which should enable me to put a GoPro Hero 7 down on a wreck and leave it running for 3 or 4 hours and recover it later. I'm not taking any footage today, I'm just putting the empty housing down to test the setup and to make sure it doesn't leak before I start filming long videos of what goes on the wreck, and then edit them down if there's anything interesting. It's a project, I don't know what it's going to reveal, but we might get some interesting footage of bigger fish than we normally see. So we were quite lucky today. There was no current, so we could just jump in and go straight down to the wreck. It's a small wreck, and what we decided to do right at the start is just go off the bow and then start looking for the tug, so we could use up bottom time. Then there's Steve, he's got his reel out pointing in the direction. We came across these blocks which fishermen obviously had put down to encourage fish, and we looked around, we put the reel all the way out, looked around and didn't find the tug, so we came back to the car barge. This is the bow again. It's quite a small wreck, you can go around it several times very easily. The viz was really poor when we went down at the start, 2 to 3 meters. Hence the quality of the video, but it did start to improve as the dive went on. You can see here now we're just inside the holds. What was good to see is what I call the winter fish, the game fish, queen fish. Bigger fish were back on the wreck, as opposed to the snappers and bream we get during the summer, as you can see here. We saw a lot of fish on the surface as we went out. The barge used to have cars inside the holds. Sadly, they seem to have disappeared or silted up. There is a little wheelhouse accommodation area at the back. You can see here Steve going through up the stairs onto the roof. I don't know if this was a motorised barge or not. When there is a wheelhouse, it tends to indicate there was, but we couldn't see any indication that it was motorized in the past. Here you can see the viz is starting to improve, and look at these, I call them jacks. This is the back of the wreck, going down to the stern. The viz was pretty poor at the stern, and here you can see the accommodation wheelhouse. Again, that's where most of the fish life is concentrated. Just generally quite a nice wreck, nice and easy diving, as long as you get the currents right. This and the Sarraf, which we filmed recently, both can have very, very fast currents on them due to the water separating around the world development. We're back in the hold. I found a steering wheel, some tyres, but no visible cars. I'm not sure if they've just rusted and disintegrated or if they're underneath the silt you see there. There it gets stirred, another steering wheel. So yeah, we might change its name to the steering wheel wreck or steering wheel barge. Here we are on the side, again to the stern, and it was really good to see these fish. What it means, and the temperature had dropped a degree, and over the coming weeks the water will get a bit cooler. Hopefully we'll get the barracuda back. This is right at the bow again, coming right over the front. Lots of snapper, lots of bream, which we get throughout the summer. This is Steve, just before he goes to chase a queenfish. Here's some footage from Steve. He really is good at composition with his camera. There's our favourite, the yellow bar angelfish, not the Arabian angelfish, people. If you want to understand about the difference between the two, see an earlier video that I posted. So there are areas you can go in on this wreck, very, very safe. I say it's very, very small, it's a tiny wreck. Unfortunately we didn't find the tug. We will be going back to find the tug in winter, and we will find it, and then we'll connect both wrecks. This is me setting up my little experiment with the extended time underwater housing for the GoPro 7, and this is coming towards the end of the dive. More fish were coming in, so really nice for fish life, and I think within a week or two we'll have the bigger fish, even bigger fish on the wrecks. In the winter we do get a lot of barracuda in shoals just going around the wrecks, and they're amazing to look at and to film. This is Steve going up to the roof and then round the back, round the stern. See, and there he is going up over the top. More fish around the accommodation area. These yellow bar, they always come out to greet you. They're very, very inquisitive, unlike the Arabian angel, which we don't get here. Now this is amazing. At the start of the dive we had a shoal of queenfish come through, and then we had this solitary queenfish which Steve chased after and managed to film. So all in all, a lovely dive and time to go home. Back onto the boat. Well, that was a pretty nice dive. We went down, viz was about 3 meters when we got down, not great. It did improve as we went into low water. We dived through low water today and was around 5 meters when we finished. What was amazing on the wreck is the winter fish life is starting to come back. We did have some queenfish come through. I did see a nice hamor down in the hold, and we had lots of trevally and the sort of I call game fish coming in, which is the first time we've seen them in these depths. The wreck was in 19 meters. You'll see from the video footage, not much left of the cars. They seem to have disintegrated. I did find a tyre and a steering wheel, but it's a nice little square wreck. We will dive it again. We had a look for the tug, which lies about 20 degrees off the starboard bow. No joy there. The vis was pretty poor when we did that. But having said that, very glad that we went out and dived the Car Barge again after so long. Hope you enjoyed the video. The footage, most of the footage, or my footage anyway, was shot on a GoPro Hero 8. I had it on 1080, 60 frames per second, and I had it set on wide, and I used the Polar Pro magenta filter. So, see you next time. The cooler weather's definitely on the way. We've got lots of fish. You just saw there on the surface, the cormorants and other birds hunting. Brilliant. That means we're going to have some excellent diving coming up for all of you in the next few months.